So today, we're diving into what looks like a pretty simple trip, a 150-mile journey that happened almost 2,000 years ago. But it turns out, this short little trek is actually a huge historical puzzle, a real ancient travel mystery. And you know what? I think we can crack it.
Okay, to really get this, just try to picture it. You have to travel 150 miles through the super rugged Taurus Mountains. That's in modern-day Turkey. You've got no phone, no GPS, nothing. And you'd probably assume there aren't any paved roads. But what if there were? This is the exact situation facing the Apostle Paul and his friends, and for them, the path they chose was literally a matter of life and death.
So here's the setup. The journey is from a coastal city called Perga inland to a place called Pisidian Antioch. The big problem? Our main source, the book of Acts in the Bible, is frustratingly vague. All it says is that they passed through the area. That's it. That's all we get.
And we're not the only ones stumped by this. This quote from the scholar T.R.S. Broughton just lays it all out. He basically says the text gives us nothing, no help. So this isn't about reading between the lines. There are no lines to read between. So what do? Well, you have to become a detective and use geography and history to figure out the most probable route.
This whole thing basically boils down to three main suspects. You've got the eastern route, which is pretty rugged. Then there's the central route, the shortest and most direct. And finally, the western route. It's the longest, yeah, but it has a massive advantage. It was a paved Roman highway. So let's put them in a lineup and check them out, one by one. All right, first up on the docket, the eastern route. This one heads north from the coast and kind of weaves its way up into those really tough Taurus Mountains.
Now, the main thing this route has going for it is that, well, it existed. It wasn't some unknown wilderness. It was a known trail. It climbed past little mountain towns like Etna and then went down towards Lake Corrales. It was a tough slog, for sure, but people did use it.
But, and this is a big but, there's a huge problem. This route doesn't really go to Pisidian Antioch. It naturally leads to another city, Iconium. Taking this path to get to Antioch would be like driving from New York to Boston just to get to Philadelphia. It just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, most historians just crossed this one right off the list.
Okay, suspect number 2, the central route. Now, at first glance, this one looks like a no-brainer.
I mean, his biggest advantage is right there in the numbers. At only 114 miles, it is the most direct way to get there. If all you care about is the shortest distance from A to B, this is your winner.
But here's the catch. Shortest does not mean easiest. Not even close. We're talking about a brutal climb through deep gorges and crazy steep valleys. One part is even called the Canyon with Writing. And on top of the terrain, it was known for bandits. This wasn't just a tough hike. It was a seriously dangerous trip.
And this is where things get really interesting. Because if you grab almost any modern Bible atlas, guess which route they almost always show? This one. So why? Well, it's probably not because of solid evidence. It's more likely because it's the simplest, straightest line for someone to draw on a map. It just looks right, you know? But that's a trap. Okay, that brings us to our final suspect, the western route. And this one's a total game changer.
We need to be super clear here. This wasn't some dirt track. This was the Via Sebaste, a legit Roman superhighway. This was a wide, paved road engineered by the military for safety and for wagons. They built it to connect their colonies and keep everything under control. Seriously, think of it like the brand new interstate system rolling out.
And get this, check out the date. It was finished in 6 BCE. So when Paul is making his trip around 47 CE, this thing is basically brand new. It's in prime condition. It was without a doubt the absolute safest and most modern way to travel through this part of the world. So, when you just lay out the options, the choice seems pretty clear, right? You can take the shorter but super dangerous, rugged mountain tracks, or you can take the slightly longer route on a paved, policed Roman superhighway. If you're heading into a place you've never been before, which one are you going to pick?
And that's exactly what most of the top experts in this field think. For the initial journey to Pisidian Antioch, the western route along the Via Sebaste just makes the most sense. It's safe, it's reliable. So, mystery solved, right? Well, not so fast.
This is where the whole story takes a fascinating twist. Maybe the answer isn't about finding the one single route. Maybe it's about two of them.
What if we've been asking the wrong question this whole time? Instead of asking, which road did they take? Maybe we should be asking, which roads did they take? Is it possible they took one road to get there and a completely different one to get back?
And this leads to a really elegant hypothesis. Think about it. On the way there, heading into unfamiliar territory, you take the safe, reliable Roman highway. But on the way back, now you know the area, you know what you're up against, and you just want to get home fast. So maybe then you take that dangerous shortcut, the central route. Okay, it's a neat theory, but is there any actual proof? Oh yeah, and it's been hiding in plain sight this whole time. On the return journey, the text adds one tiny, crucial detail. It says they passed through Pisidia. Now, why does that matter? Well, both the western and the eastern routes go around the rugged fartland of Pisidia. There's only one route that goes directly through it, the central route. That, right there, is our smoking gun.
So why does this little geographical debate even matter? I mean, it's just a couple of roads, right? But it teaches us some really important things. It shows that the most obvious answer, the straight line on the map, is often wrong. It highlights that historical context, like knowing a Roman superhighway existed, is everything. And it proves that a simple journey back then was actually a complex strategic decision, a constant trade-off between safety and speed.
And really, that's the big takeaway. History is just packed with these kinds of puzzles, hiding right beneath the surface of what we think we know. It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? What other simple facts that we take for granted are actually fascinating, unsolved mysteries just waiting for us to explore?